Let us try to find out the market equilibrium condition. We have already seen what do you mean by Pareto efficiency, and we have also seen what are the different examples for Pareto efficiency. Now let's move on a little further, right? Let's try to find out the market equilibrium, where exactly an equilibrium is going to lie for a two-person, two-good economy, right? So we'll first of all assume that there's an auctioneer and he's setting the prices. He's saying that the price of X is going to be this and the price of Y is going to be this, right? So there's an auctioneer who sets the prices in perfect competition. So there's a perfectly competitive market, and this auctioneer is setting the price, PXPY. He's setting the price. And there's a consumer who is maximizing the utility. Okay, so the prices are given to this consumer. We have already seen that there are two consumers and there are two goods. So consumers are A and B, goods are X and Y. So every consumer will maximize utility, right? There's consumer A. What is he doing? He's maximizing his utility, UA, XAYA, subject to the constraint, budget constraint. What is he consuming? Beta, he's consuming XAYA. At what prices is he consuming this? At prices PX and PY. So his expenditure in consuming XAYA is PX into XA plus PY into YA. This has to be equal to his income. What is his income? In this endowment economy, in this exchange economy, we are assuming that there is no outside income. So whatever is his endowment, the value of that endowment itself is just the income. So what is his endowment? Your WAX for good X and WAY for good Y. This is what it is. What is the value of his endowment would be then? PX WAX plus PY WAY. So this is the value value of A's endowment. That's what it is, beta. That's what it is. Value of A's endowment. Individual B who is maximizing his utility subject to his budget constraint. What will this be then? Px xb plus py yb px wbx plus py wby. हाँ बेटा, plus py wby. So this is the value of B's endowment. This is the value of B's endowment. हाँ बेटा. Okay, so they are, I'm individual A and you guys are individual B. What am I demanding? XA and YA. I'm individual A, I'm demanding XA, YA. At what prices I'm demanding? PX, py. Of course, this is going to be the function of px, py. These are my demand functions, xay, and these are my gross demands. These are my gross demands, right? And what is, I mean, I am also endowed with some amount of x and some amount of y, right? So supposedly if I'm endowed with 2 units of x and I'm demanding 5 units of x, so my gross demand for x is 5, while my net demand or excess demand for x is 3. So these are my gross demands, beta. What are net demand? Or excess demand? Hmm? What are net demand or excess demand? For x, for individual A, for x it would be what? The amount of x which he is demanding, that is his gross demand, minus his endowment of x. A's excess demand for good y would be amount of y which he is demanding minus endowment of y which he has, right? Similarly, individual B, you guys are individual B. Your gross demand for X is like this. These are going to be your gross demands of X. What is your excess demand for X? EBX is your gross demand for X minus what you are endowed with X. Similarly, your gross demand for Y would be YB. WPY. हाँ बेटा. This one is right. What is the aggregate excess demand? So excess demand. Okay, how do you write this? What is the aggregate excess demand? Aggregate excess demand for good X is excess demand for good X by individual A plus excess demand for good X by individual B. That is the aggregate excess demand. Please write this. Aggregate excess demand. That is ZX PXPY is aggregate excess demand for good X by individual A plus aggregate excess demand for good X by individual B. Similarly, ZY PXPY, that is aggregate excess demand for good Y, is going to be what? Excess demand for good Y by individual A, excess demand for good Y by individual B. That is going to be there. How it up? Okay. Now let us try to understand how does equilibrium comes in this market. This is interesting. You will like it. So just assume we have 10 units of X here and 10 units of Y here, right? Okay. Achha, one more thing, I hope you understand this thing. If you just look at my budget constraint. This is what my budget constraint is. This budget constraint which I have, beta, this is passing through endowments. Yes. So this budget line, my budget line has to pass through endowment. Hmm? And it is passing through XAYA also. So if XAYA is going to be an equilibrium, whatever it is, it has to pass through that XAYA also. है ना? So wherever I am consuming, it has to pass through that point, and it also has to pass through the endowment. Fair enough. Now let us say my endowment is here. Hmm? My endowment is here. Beta. My endowment is here. Okay. Let's say here. So I have 8 units of X and let's say 2 units of Y. I have something like this. This is what my endowment is. I know that the budget line has to pass through an endowment. Let us say auctioneer has given us the prices, PXPY, and the my budget line looks like this, something like this. This is what an endowment is. And what is your endowment, beta? From your side. I mean, I'm measuring this from your side too, from your origin. This is OB, this is OA. And you have you have 2 units of X and 8 units of Y. So for you also this is an endowment. So of course this point is an endowment for you from your side. And prices are same for both of us, PXPY. Okay. My utility functions are going to move like this, let us say. So given this budget line, is this my highest indifference curve? No, no, no. I can go further. Is this my highest indifference curve? No, no, no. I can go further. I can go further, na? So let us say I move till here. So given these prices, I move here. Hmm? Okay. And what do I do here? I want to demand this much. Guys, I'm taking time in this so that you understand what's going on behind the scenes. It is very easy for me to tell you just a numerical question and just do it, but you should know what's going on behind the scene. Let us say I want to demand here 3 units of X and 6 units of Y, right? Okay. This much? Huh? So you can say this is individual A's whatever equilibrium. So given this budget, now you will also be maximizing, है ना? You will also be maximizing your utility. So your utility are moving like this. Is this the highest indifference curve? Given this budget line, is this your highest indifference curve? No. Is this your highest indifference curve? No. You can go further. I didn't know how to. Okay, let it be like this. So let us say this is your highest indifference curve. Let us say like this. Hmm. हाँ बेटा, this is what your highest indifference curve is, and you are, let us say, consuming here. हाँ बेटा. So what happens? You want to consume more X, and let us say whatever, this much of Y, something like this. So this is your thing. Hmm? Okay. I want to give up I want to sell. I am individual A, you guys are individual B. But when I move from 8 to 3, what is it that I want to do? Individual A wants to sell 5 units of X, right? And at the same time, individual A wants to buy how much? 4 units of Y. I'm so sorry. 4 units of Y. Arey yaar, I'm in this. I'm so sorry. Individual A wants to buy 4 units of Y. Huh? Okay. What individual B wants to do? Just think about it. Individual B wants to move from this point to this point. So, individual B wants to buy 2 units of X. हाँ बेटा, individual B wants to buy 2 units of X and wants to sell 1 unit of Y. That's what it is. So he wants to sell 1 unit of Y, but he wants to buy 2 units of X. Fair enough, right? So just think about it. What is happening out here? My supply of X is more than what your demand for X is. That's right. That's right. Supply of X by individual A is more than demand of X by individual B. Is this right? So it means what? At these prices, there is an excess supply of A. Okay. What about Y? I want to demand 4 units of Y, but you want to sell only less Y. So my demand of Y by individual A is more than supply of Y by individual B. हाँ बेटा. So it means what? It's not excess supply of A. Excess supply of X. And here it is. Excess demand of Y. Right? At prices PXP. At prices PXP. Now you tell me one thing. If there is an excess supply of X, what should happen to the price of X? Price of X should increase. Sorry. Price of X should decrease, right? Because there's an excess supply of X. And when there is excess demand for something, what should happen to the price of that thing? Price of Y should increase. You with me? So you have initially Px by Py like this. Now you have Px dash and Py dash. So Px is falling and Py is increasing. So what is happening that this guy is going to fall? This guy is going to fall. हाँ बेटा, this guy is going to fall. So what will happen is that this line, you will have a new line, which is, okay, I will. You will have a new line, which is going to be a flatter one at the new prices. At the new prices. So these prices are what? New price ratio. px dash py dash. Again, this is going through the endowment point. And this condition, uh, this change in prices is going to happen till all gains from the trade are exhausted. That means till the conditions are going to look like this. So this is going to be my indifference curve, and maybe this is going to be your indifference curve ultimately at this particular point, beta. So at this line, let's say I'm going to maximize my utility here, and at this line you're going to maximize your utility here. So the amount of X which I'm demanding is equal to the supply of X which you are supplying, and the amount of Y which I am supplying is equal to the amount of Y which you are demanding. So ideally, what exactly I mean by saying this is that there is going to be demand equal to supply at this particular point. And this process of change in the price, so you might write somewhere the way you have written it for px dash py dash. So the process, this process will continue till equilibrium is reached, right? And and when do you say equilibrium is reached? So you say that equilibrium is reached when when both, I mean, very loosely speaking, when both maximize at the same point, or in other words, all gains from trade are exhausted. All gains from trade are exhausted. Now, if you look this point very clearly, what is it that you will find? That this particular point is a very interesting point. This tells you something. One, this is an equilibrium. What I mean, there is a tendency condition for me, MRSXY, sorry, MRSXY for individual A, I'm individual A, is equal to the price ratio. That's what it is. Given the budget, I'm maximizing my utility. Similarly, this is the point. MRSXY for B is also equal to PX by PY. MRSXY for B is also equal to PX by PY. That is, for you also this tendency condition holds, which you can write very clearly as MRS XY for A is equal to MRS XY for B is equal to Px by Py. This is the condition which you have, right? So this competitive equilibrium point which you have got is also Pareto efficient, right? Because MRSXYA is equal to MRSXYB is holding out here, right? Okay, in the next recording, we're going to talk about Walras law. Thanks.